Breakdown.
I'm Pete Wright.
And I'm Andy Nelson.
Welcome to the next reel. When the movie ends,
Our conversation begins.
WarGames is over. Hello, Joshua. Hi, Andy. We're talking about WarGames. I'm very excited about it.
Yes, I am excited about this one too. This was a fun one to revisit because I hadn't seen it in a very long time.
Very long time. And when you say that, let me just ask you this. Is it because there are entire sequences that it was like new movie to you?
Yes and no. Like as soon as they played, I'm like, oh yeah, I totally remember this. But there were also sequences in this that have never left my brain, that have been burned in my entire life.
Me too. But the beginning of the movie, there's a lot of military stuff in the beginning that I did not. I mean, it was just like I haven't seen this movie.
You mean the whole Michael Madsen, John Spencer opening?
Yeah, that's the one. I haven't seen that.
So I don't think I remembered it until he pointed the gun at him. Until Michael Madsen points his gun at John Spencer and is like, "Turn the key, sir." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I do remember this."
Man, dark stuff going on there. And that was so okay. So let's break down where we are. Hello, members. This is a member bonus episode. We're talking about WarGames. We're talking about WarGames because we're in the middle of our Thinking Machines series. We have talked about Colossus, the former part. That's, giant computer in a mountain. Might sound familiar today.
And the Cold War.
And the Cold War, right. We talked about Demon Seed, which is a computer has a baby with a lady.
And that's all.
Yeah, that's pretty much, that's all. Right. We know more, but we don't talk about it.
Nudge, wink, wink.
Nudge, wink, wink. Right. So we're talking about WarGames. Here's the reason I'm excited to talk about WarGames. And it wasn't on the list, my initial list, when I came up with this series. Maybe it could have been, but I'm glad that it ended up there because this one has a change character in AI. That one of the change characters is WOPR. WOPR.
Like the burger. Yep.
It is a maniacal militaristic machine that actually learns a moral lesson. It teaches itself a moral lesson through training. And I have to admit, I kind of like that.
It's an interesting film because, there are examples of films where you have like the antagonist is essentially the one who is your change character and they learn to grow or whatever. And often that's always the case in like a romantic comedy or something where the two people who are so completely different, but we know they're meant to be together and they learn to be together. That's exactly the sort of thing we get here.
But we haven't yet had it in the form of a computer.
We haven't yet, not in, at least for sure in this series, which is interesting. So it's fun to see how it plays here. But it's also interesting because, and we'll definitely talk more about this, this is one of those movies that when you watch, you realize this script works really well for 1983. And then you look at it through today's eyes and you're like, okay, I can see how screenwriting has advanced and how things have changed, because the fact that this was nominated for an original screenplay Oscar says a lot that we're not necessarily nominating things like this today. I think it's a little, it's not as complex, I guess.
Okay, you break that down a little bit further for me. I'm really interested in your thoughts on this. What was going on culturally that caused this film to be something of such intensity that it ends up getting nominated? And what degree does that have on amplifying a more simple script?
The big thing going on with this script and this movie at the time is this movie came out at the exact perfect time for this to hit. This was the era of The Day After and Threads and these other stories of nuclear war and the devastation. This was the period when home computers really started booming, and modems and BBSs, and especially video games with ColecoVision and Atari and Commodore 64s, and even just the stand-up the video games that you'd find everywhere, like we see David at when he shows up. All of this is becoming a reality, and this film tapped into cultural fears of nuclear war. It tapped into adults' fears of having zero framework for what their children are capable of. And then the same thing, like with the military, and just like not understanding how some of this stuff worked, and the trust that they put into these systems that didn't have, I mean, we talk a lot about guardrails. This is a good example of like, they clearly didn't have enough guardrails to really think through all this stuff. And so I think that's why when this film came out, it was such a big hit. And I think they were able to tap into all of those different things that spoke to people, that made people go, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I mean, I think there's a lot of other reasons that this film probably ended up getting a Best Original Screenplay Oscar nomination. I think a lot of it boils down to just the fact that it felt cutting edge. Like, this is the first time in a film that you hear firewall. This is the first time that you see hacking, and you see the way that he's using the modem. And just the fact that people are capable of doing these sorts of things was new to so many people, and that it was essentially cutting edge, and they were doing stuff that wasn't fantastical. I think that's one of the reasons that it opened people's... I mean, this movie opened the president's eyes to what actually could potentially happen. Like, it felt like so just right on the nose as far as where things were at that moment.
I think it was right before this that Secretary of State Alexander Haig first discussed publicly the levels of nuclear war and preparation for nuclear war, and that gives us the DEFCONs in this movie. NATO was stacking Pershing missiles all over Europe at the time, and it was just a couple of months after this movie was released that Russia shot down, or Soviet Union at the time shot down Korean Air Flight 007, which was I think we'll call that a big deal. That was a big deal. And so absolutely right. I remember the bedroom stuff, right? Thinking I need more computers in my life. That modem was amazing. I wanted to have all that stuff. That's where I learned about, because we had a computer. We had an Apple II. I loved it. And it wasn't connected to anything. And I just was giddy with anticipation of those sounds. Those sounds I wanted in my life, something bad.
And when you got it, it was a thrill. And when you would dial in and you'd get the beep boop, it was just like, oh, I'm actually connecting to something out there in the world. And then you start chatting in these rooms and stuff. Like, it was a thrill. Like, and I think today people don't understand how amazing that was, that you could do that.
Yeah, because now it's just everywhere. Look, come on, everywhere. Too easy, kids today. What was your first computer? Do you remember your first computer?
It was a Commodore 64.
All right. We had a Commodore 64, but it was like a loaner from a friend of my dad's. We had the Apple II and then switched. I couldn't believe it, to the IBM PS2. Oh. So I was out of the Apple world for some years, and I did not care for it.
Even then I knew. I just feel something wrong in my life. You've just heard the opening stretch of our member bonus conversation about WarGames, part of the Thinking Machines series, where we track the movies that ask what happens when the machines start thinking for themselves. And just like that login screen David Lightman probably shouldn't have found, you have hit an access point. What's in the public feed is the free sample, the unguarded backdoor. The rest of the conversation, where we dig deeper into the film, the filmmaking, and what it all means, that's in the member feed. To get in, head to truestory.fm/join. Membership gets you monthly member bonus episodes like this one, including special series picks voted on by members, early access to ad-free episodes across the whole Next Reel family, The Next Reel, The Film Board, Sitting in the Dark, Movies We Like, and CinemaScope, additional pre-show and post-show segments on select episodes, and access to members-only areas in our Discord community, plus the ongoing film talk in our Show Talk channel. It's $5 a month or $55 for the year. Head to truestory.fm/join. That's truestory.fm/join. A strange game. The only winning move is to join. The Next Reel. When the movie ends, our conversation begins.
Breakdown.